Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. My name's Destiny. I've been gone for about a month, and I honestly have just been adjusting to apartment life and spending a lot of family time and have not felt like filming. And I've noticed that if I film when I don't really feel up to it, you don't get good quality content. So I took a month off. It is now August. I am back, and we're going to talk about what I've been reading. So I will put it up probably here beside me. All the books that I've read in each month. To start out, we're going to talk about June because I gave y'all my Cycle 7 TBR and then ghosted. So that would have been June into July, and then Cycle 8 is July into August. So for June, I ended up reading 13 books. There is one missing here because I finished the whole series, so I just left like the third book of that series out of this graphic. My favorite of June had to be A Study in Charlotte. I think that it was done really smartly. I have not read the original Sherlock Holmes, but I think this twist on it was really good, especially since I know that it was said that Holmes had the same problem that the Holmes in this one that Charlotte has. I found it entertaining. I laughed out loud multiple times. Absolutely loved it. I gave it 5 stars. The most disappointing out of this entire 3 months and maybe the year, it may be my most disliked of the year. That is Holmes, Marple, and Poe. I picked this up because if you have been following me for a little bit, you'll know last year I went through an Agatha Christie binge and read all the Hercule. I cannot say his first name. Poirot's. I've read all of his books, all of them. I have not read a Miss Marple book, but I love Agatha Christie, and I wanted to know more. I really, really did. And so when I found out there was a book coming out that was supposed to be Holmes, Marple, and Poe, I thought, okay, this is down right up my alley. There is a whole blog post about how much I dislike this book. I feel like they had multiple mysteries that they wanted to see these characters solve and decided to throw them all in one book, and here you go. Because nothing was straight. There wasn't like a streamlined mystery throughout any of this. And you're really supposed to be questioning who these characters are. Like, who are they? They don't really have a background. And if we were going to do that, we should have gotten a third or a fourth perspective telling us the story, not the three of them, because it's hard to question who your characters are when you're in their head. Like, it did not work. I gave it 2 stars. Absolutely disliked it. I might go into the next one. I might, if they write another one, I may pick up the next one just to see if it's done better. Because I was so interested. The characters are interesting themselves, and I think if they had slowed down and chose one mystery to actually lock in on and look at, it would have been a phenomenal book. But it was just too much going on at once. I will say I don't know if that's just how James Patterson writes. I've never read a James Patterson book, but this was co-wrote with somebody else, and I really feel like the two of them just stuck all their ideas into one book and did a little bit of editing to try to make it flow because they could not agree on what mystery to tell. It just was not the greatest in my opinion. Some of the other ones I've completely finished out the Feyhaven. I'm looking at my notes to make sure. Yes. The Faven. Faven. That's like F but heaven. So Fayen saga. This is a 4-book series. It's on Kindle Unlimited. I ate this up. If you love Corathon Roses, this one is definitely for you. I think that's where I actually got the recommendation was TikTok. Somebody suggested it, If you have just finished A Court of Thorn and Roses and you're looking for something else, give this a try. That was that I think that's where I got this recommendation from, and I have to wholeheartedly agree that it literally was like reading A Court. This does follow a human who ends up in the fairylands and shit starts happening. I think, in my own point of view, I think we got more of the court, like more of the world in this series than we have in A Court. I think that it was better written, in my opinion, which I could be wrong. In the storyline, the plot moved quite substantially, and I really, really enjoyed it. That's not saying I don't love A Court. I do. I just think this one is a better rendition of that. Okay, so let's move on to July. In July, I finished 18 books. Your girl was reading. My favorite of the month, there's two, because honestly, I could not pick one. First is How to Build a Second Brain. I know there's a lot goes below it, but How to Build a Second Brain. If you have not read this one actually is what got me to filming again. This one talks about how your brain is not meant to hold memories, it's not meant to hold information, it's meant to create things. And so the book is about creating a second brain, creating a digital bank of knowledge. It's like having an electronic commonplace book, if you've heard of that. I love the commonplace book idea, but my problem was I couldn't move things around. Once I finished one commonplace book, that information to me was pretty much lost unless I had a strict way of um cataloging it all, and I'm just not organized at this point in my life enough to keep that up. So the idea of having an electronic commonplace really interests me. And so I started doing it in Notion. And let me tell you, I absolutely am in love. Any thought I have or anything I want to remember, or I'm like, hey, this is a cool article, I'll read it later, I throw it into that second brain. And when I have downtime and I'm not doing something, it's right there. I absolutely love it. It is wonderful. If you have not read this book, I highly recommend. If you are feeling like in a slump, you're like a more creative person, and you're like feeling like, okay, I just don't want to do anything, I can't create anything, try reading The Second Brain and try making one. It will change your life. The other one that I absolutely loved, and I feel a little bad saying, is Butcher and Blackbird. I loved it so much. I will be reading Leather and Lark. I just have not had a chance to because I burned myself out on smut. But I loved Butcher and Blackbird. If you have not heard of Butcher and Blackbird, it follows two serial killers who are killing serial killers. The book starts out with our main female character. She is locked in a cage with a dead body. And she's like freaking out about the maggots. I will tell you right now, I don't do maggots. Is the one thing I will not do. Nope, can't do it. No, will not do maggots. So when she starts describing them, no. So I almost DNF'd right there because of maggots. But then the butcher comes in and he lets her out of the cage and is like fangirling over her. She is fangirling over him, and they agree to a game. Once a year, they will be sent to a random place, and it is a competition to see who can find out who the killer is first and kill them, and that person wins. And it is set up by his brother. And Lark does not want the butcher to win. He wants the Blackbird to win, and it turns into this hilariously cute yet gory story that I fell in love with, honestly. Some of the other stands out from July because I have read so much in July compared to the other two. I read Home is Where the Bodies Are. Um, I like Geneva's other books. I can say that with my full chest. I really enjoyed You Should Not Come Here. I did not see that twist coming. I thought it was really good. I've also read her One of Us is Dead. I really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that book. Home is Where the Bodies Are. I do not recommend buying this book unless you're nostalgic for a VHS tape like 90s. Then I would buy it. But in all honesty, I saw the ending coming. I'm 100 miles away. 100 miles away. I knew where this was going, and it pissed me off that I knew where it was going. I was hoping that she was misleading us. It was going to be a red herring, and it was going to flip over on its fucking head. It didn't, and I'm mad. Yeah, no. Mm-mm. I don't know what I gave that, but I'm pretty sure if it was higher than a 3, I disagree and I need to go take it down. I may even give it a 2 because even thinking back, I'm still mad. Still mad. I read Ruthless Vows as well, and man, it was okay. I think there wasn't enough strife for me. There wasn't enough distance between the two of them. It feels like everything kind of wrapped up pretty quickly. Yeah, they made it back together too quickly, for my opinion. In my opinion. Um, mm, I didn't mention this. I finished all of the what is that series called? I don't even think I mentioned. No, I didn't even write it down. I finished the entire Three Dark Crowns, that series by Cassandra Blake. Yeah, I finished that entire series finally. I had started it way back when and could not get my hands on the second one in audiobook format, and I happened to get my hands on the audiobook, and I finished the second one, third, fourth, and I finished them all basically this in this 3 month span, and I thought it was a really good series. I think that it was smartly done, and I could use more in it. Honestly, if she wants to write side books about side characters, I'd be down. I would love to listen to more about that world in itself. Um, what did I finish? I'm looking at my notes. If you're wondering, I finished in June. I finished Under the Whispering Door and Lives of Puppets. I mean, I don't have much to say clearly. Let's move into August. In August, I only finished 5. So in August, you will notice the biggest one on here is Children of Anguish and Anarchy. It's under my notes, so I can't grab it right now for you guys. I love this. I think it was a beautiful conclusion to this series. I think that I understand why it took her so long to write it and to put it out. It was beautifully written, and I cannot wait to own a physical copy of it and Children of Blood and Bone because I don't own it anymore, and I wish I did. This book was so good. Zélie has grown so much, so has Zane, and they have come a million miles, and I absolutely love this. I I highly recommend. If you've not read this series, why not? Please, please pick it up because it is so good. The next thing I finished in the month of August, we're going to talk about all 5 of them since there are only 5. I in July I finished Emily Wild's Encyclopedia of Fairies, and in August I was able to get my hands on the audiobook for Emily Wild's Map to the Other Lands. And can I just say, I love this series so much. I find them cute and cozy and just, it is like watching my favorite TV show play out in front of me. I cannot wait for more Emily Wild and all that they get into. And can I just say, if something happens to her pet, I may riot because nothing can happen to him. Nothing can happen to the Grimm. I love him and I just want to cuddle him. I do not want anything happening to him, but I loved this book. If you enjoyed Emily Wild's Encyclopedia of Fairies, and she didn't get on your nerves because I can see the perspective where she could get on your nerves because she's very uptight and very kind of strict. then you're going to love this one as well. She does relax a little, but not enough. And they still get into all kinds of crap. The next one I finished that we're going to talk about is Where Sleeping Girls Lie. This one, trigger warnings for SA, trigger warnings for grief and loss of family. Oh, Where Sleeping Girls Lie hit me right in the freaking feels. I didn't even know it was going to. So we start out with a character, I can't remember her first name to save the life of me right now, but she has never left her home. Her father has recently passed, and so she decides to go to a boarding school. And pretty soon you realize that she really had no friends, no nothing. She was homeschooled, and she's only there. She keeps telling us in our own heads, like, I'm only here because my dad passed. And there's a little voice in her head saying, you shouldn't have come, you shouldn't come, you shouldn't come. You don't know why her little voice is saying that, but her voice is. And she's like, okay, maybe it's right. No, that's just my anxiety. She does have anxiety and panic attacks. And by the end of it, you are so angry, and you're angry but yet understanding. And it was so beautifully written. There is an author's note where the author says, I took so long with this one because I wanted to make sure I did it right. I wanted to do it justice. I needed to work through it. I did not want to just put it out very quickly. She wrote Ace of Spades, which I am planning on reading. Hopefully, if I get back into my audiobook listening, hopefully finish it this week. Start and finish it this week. I probably will tomorrow. I have notes to put in for work. But she did a beautiful job with this one. As someone who has went through that, she did a beautiful job. She did it justice. She did wonderful. And I'm at a loss for words because I'm holding it so close. I did give it 5 stars. Where Sleeping Girls Lie is not something to go in to without knowing the trigger warnings, but it is a crucial and monumental piece of literature that I think that everyone should read, if I'm being honest. The last 2 I read in August, I've read in August so far, because it's only the 7th of August, that is Wretched and Twisted. I love a good smutty book, but I think I should have left them alone. I finished Crossed in July, enjoyed it, decided I wanted to finish the series out, and picked up Wretched first. It was okay. Wretched seemed unbelievable to me a bit. I felt like you had to brain's gonna work. You have to really let go of reality for this one to work, in my opinion. Crossed is between a priest and a dancer, like a spicy dancer. That one to me does have a taboo romance, and they do kill for one another. I think it's very popular right now to like murderers ending up with a happy ending. So that one to me was done really well. I've really enjoyed it. I would not recommend unless you're looking for something fluffy and light. Wretched, on the other hand, is a DEA agent and the woman who's creating drugs. Now, the reason I say you have to like let go of reality a little bit with this one is because his mother was a drug addict and died of drugs. And all of a sudden, that no longer matters because he's met this woman he's fallen in love with and he's ready to give it all up, even though she's the one that's creating the drug. And she's like, she created the formula, she's brewing it, everything. Like, this would have never happened without her that killed his mother, supposedly. So that one to me, you just had to let go of reality. And then Twisted was a cartel daughter ending up with the right hand man of her father. That one to me was very readable, very realistic, and I really enjoyed it. I just was burnt out on smut at that point. But the other two, I just did not know. I guess that's just my own problem, though. Like, it's nothing against the books. Obviously, this is my own opinion. You may like a type of romance. You may like that kind of thing. I just didn't find it believable. So there you have it. That is everything I have read in the last 3 months. It totaled to 36 books, and I'm not mad at that number. I'm actually pretty happy at it, considering we're only 7 days into August, and I have finished 5 books, one of them physically. Your girl is rocking it. But let me know, what is your favorite book you've read in the last quarter, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.